Hey everyone, this is Chris, and welcome to the Weight Warriors podcast. So how are you doing? I hope you are doing well. This is a podcast about myself and hopefully you as well. I don't want this to be only my journey. I want it to be our journey. So I want to start off by telling you that I am not a doctor. If you have any kind of medical conditions or anything like that, you should consult your doctor before making any changes to your activity or diet. Make sure that you're being smart. Make sure that you're not doing too much or more than you should. So a little bit of background about myself. I started gaining weight probably in middle school or high school, and I've always just kind of been overweight since that point. It was never something that I really did anything about. It was just kind of like, oh, that's how I am. And I was honestly lazy. And I had other things that were a priority for me for most of my life, I would say. Then about 7 years ago, for the first time ever, I started exercising. I didn't have a job at that point in time, and I got into a routine where I was able to go to the gym twice a day. This is kind of a rare circumstance, not something that you find yourself in a lot. But through that, I was able to see success, and kind of, I think, has been the start of the last 8 years. Now, as of I'm recording this, it's not like the last 8 years has gone well. I've had some ups and downs. I would say mostly downs, but I've had, what I felt like were some really good successes. The most recently was about a year ago. I was to the point where I was running 2 5Ks, one on a Friday night, and then Saturday morning I ran another one, and that was pretty awesome. I was very, very excited about being able to do that. But even with that, I was still over 300 pounds. I'm 6'4", 6'5", and I currently weigh about 375 pounds. I'm going to have to do an official weigh-in on one of these days, but I'm not a small person. I went to school, and the major I chose was health science. During that time, we learned about nutrition. We learned about exercise programs and different things like that you can use to work with other people. I initially went to school to go into a different field, and that field was kind of a good lead into what I was going into. And the other thing that I was going to go into didn't end up working out. And so I graduated with this degree. And so I know all about exercise and all the stuff you should do and how it all works. But how am I supposed to tell anybody what to do? Because if you look at me, I'm not somebody who's in shape. So that's kind of always been a holdup for me as far as doing anything related to that. Even though it was something I was interested in. I kind of did a lot in sports medicine before. I really liked helping people and being able to kind of show people, what's the right way to do things. In the meantime, I've done a bunch of other random jobs, nothing related to health science, nothing related to health. And it wasn't really until, like I said, 7, almost 8 years ago that I even attempted to do anything for myself. And I would say over the last year, there's been a lot that caused me to go from, to the point where I was losing weight and running 5Ks and, doing all those things that I was supposed to do or I should do to where I am now. And I'm not going to get into that now, but the experiences I've gone through over this last year has really helped change my focus. that is why I've decided to start this podcast, is to have something to help me with my commitment to being better, but also to share that with you and hopefully in any way, help you to achieve the things that you want to do as well. So we're going to talk today about getting started. And that is honestly one of the hardest things about the whole process, is getting started. I think that is one of the hardest parts, is because it can be overwhelming. If you're someone like me who would probably need to lose close to 200 pounds to be at my ideal body weight, that's a lot of weight. So that is why it's important to set goals. I don't know if you've ever set New Year's resolutions. Most people who set New Year's resolutions don't end up following through. Most of the time, as soon as mid-January, you've already given up on what you were doing and forgotten about it. The reason why is you set a goal, and you set a goal that is mentally unaccomplishable. Now, if your goal was to lose 200 pounds, that is a goal that you can accomplish, but how likely are you to accomplish it with, after a month, you've lost 5 pounds? You still have 195 pounds left. So that's the biggest reason why people fail, is they don't set the appropriate goals. So you want to set what are called SMART goals. And SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So specific. So that means you want to set a goal that is not vague. You want to set an actual goal. Measurable. It needs to be something that you can reflect back and be able to measure if you actually achieved that or not. If your goal is, I want to be successful in business, that's my goal. You can't sit there and point out, well, at one point in time did you become successful? You don't have anything specific to measure it by. The next one is achievable. So this needs to set a reasonable expectation. Now, if you want to lose 200 pounds, it's not achievable to say, I want to lose 200 pounds in the next month. That's not something that's going to be able to happen. And you will fail just because you set an impossible goal. Relevant. You need to have something that's specific to what you're focused on that will help you achieve the goal. If your goal is to lose weight, setting a goal to, learn how to drive a race car isn't going to help you in any way make that goal. And the last one is time bound. You need to be able to have a time frame and when that's achievable. So now that we have these SMART goals, now you need to figure out what those goals are going to be. So it's okay to start with the end goal. So in my case, to me, weight isn't that important. To me, it's just feeling healthy. Based on my size, my height, I estimate that, I'll probably be somewhere around where I want to be when I'm at 200 pounds. And that's not to say that once I get to 200 pounds, I'll be like, yeah, I still have a little bit of ways to go. Or maybe I'll get to 210 and I'll find out like, oh no, this is good. I'm happy with where I'm at right now. I wouldn't put a lot of weight, stupid pun intended, in a specific number. There's something called the BMI, which is the body mass index. There's all kinds of websites you can go to. You can put in basically your height and your weight, and it'll tell you your BMI number. And that can be a useful tool. Don't put too much emphasis on it, though. It's a good guide. It gives you a weight or weight range that should be healthy for your height. It doesn't take into account muscle mass. It doesn't take into account anything else other than if you're this tall, you should weigh about this much. So it's a good resource to get you in the range that you should be in. But like I said, don't get held up on a number. If you think that you should weigh 120 pounds, don't let that be what your self-esteem is based off of. Everyone is different. Everyone has different genetics, different body composition. Biggest thing is to find where you need to be. So it's fine to set an end goal, and I use that with quotation marks because that's not really the end goal. It's as close as you want to estimate. We have our end goal, right? We have where we're trying to get to. So it needs to be also measurable. So in this case, weight is something that is easily measurable. So we're good there. Achievable. That's the next thing. You need to make sure that you set an achievable goal. So you need to figure out where you're at and where you need to be, and then you can figure out how long it'll take you to get there. So if we look at my case, so assuming I'm 375 and I want to get down to 200, then I have 175 pounds to lose. A healthy weight loss is only 1 or 2 pounds a week. There may be times where more than that comes off, especially at the beginning when you start making changes. You know, you'll tend to lose a little bit more weight than that at first, but a healthy weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds. So assuming on the high end of that, I'm going to try to lose 2 pounds a week. That's going to take me 21.8 months. So 22 months. So almost 2 years. Not quite. So that's a realistic, reasonable expectation for me. So that gets into the next step of things. So achievable. What do you want to set your goal for? I think it's important to look for daily goals and weekly goals. Those are probably your two biggest things you need to focus on. So if I want to lose 2 pounds a week, then what do I need to do to achieve to lose 2 pounds this week today? Relevant. So if my goal is to lose 175 pounds, then my goal is to lose 2 pounds a week, and that is relevant. And then also they are time bound. So per week, we're going to do 2 pounds. In big picture, we're going to lose 175. So that is going to be my challenge to you, is to set your own SMART goals. The biggest thing is getting started, and it starts with setting that goal and starting. For me, that I've found, I tend to be ambitious and you feel motivated to make a change and you're finally going to do it, and you just like, all right, I'm going to eat better. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop drinking soda. I'm going to stop eating candy. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm going to eat like 10 calories a day, and it's going to be great. And you're miserable. You're sore. You're just not happy, and you're not going to be successful doing that. One of the most important things to starting out that I've found is to start even simpler than your other goals. So with me, where it's going to take me 22 months, it's better to push that out a little bit farther so that you will be able to succeed. You want to start with something simple. So I challenge you to set a simple goal for you to start. What is that goal? What can you do today to start changing? I don't care how big or small it is. It could be something simple like, I am going to go for a walk for 5 minutes today. And then do it. A 5-minute walk, a 2-minute walk. Whatever is achievable for you. The biggest thing is getting started. If it's something small, then it's achievable. It's something that you could be successful at, and it'll be something that you'll be able to continue. Now, you don't want to set a small goal and then just have that go for a long time. Set a small goal. For the next week, I'm going to go for a 5-minute walk. If you find that the 5-minute walk is really not hard or challenging for you, then, probably adjust it then. And say, okay, we're going to go to 10 minutes or 15 or 20 or 30 or whatever your comfort level is to begin with. Something that you can do and is not too hard. And then say, I'm going to do that for a week. And then after that next week, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to go to 10 minutes this week. And maybe it's a challenge at first, but you're doing it. It's achievable. It's something that you can mentally do. Don't make any drastic changes. Pick something that you're comfortable with that stretches you a little bit. It stretches you more than you're currently doing. Pick something small and start there. Once you've figured out what your short-term goal is, I would like you to go to my website. The website address is in the description. If you'll go to my section on that, and on the blog post, leave a comment. Tell me what your goals are. I would love to look through those. I would love to discuss those in future podcasts. And, feel free to leave any questions you have there or anything you have. So that is all I have for you this time, but stay tuned because we have a lot more that's coming out. And just remember, I am not unique. I am not anything different than you. And we can do this.